We live in a world where everything is connected to the internet. Your fridge tells you when you are out of milk. Your thermostat knows exactly what temperature you like before you even walk into the room. It's supposed to make our lives a beautiful, seamless paradise. But people forget one very important, very dangerous detail about smart technology. The person who controls the master admin account essentially plays God. My name is Elena. I am 32 years old and I am a senior software engineer. Until about 6 months ago, I was married to a man named David. David was a real estate investor. He was wealthy, handsome, and about as technologically literate as a caveman holding an iPad. He still typed with his index fingers. When we built our $5 million dream home in the hills, David insisted on making it the ultimate smart mansion. He paid contractors hundreds of thousands of dollars to install a fully integrated system. The lights, the security cameras, the central air, the surround sound speakers hidden in the ceiling, the automated blinds, the robotic vacuums, even the digital shower valves. Everything was wired into one massive central network. Because David didn't even know how to reset his own email password, I was the one who set up the entire network. I registered the main hub under my personal developer email. I built the infrastructure. I should have known he wasn't building that house for us. One evening, I came home from a grueling 10-hour shift at the tech firm. I walked up to the front door and entered my digital passcode. A red light flashed. Access denied. I frowned and tried again. Access denied. Suddenly, the heavy mahogany door opened manually from the inside. Standing there was David. But he wasn't alone. Clinging to his arm was a 22-year-old Instagram influencer named Lexi. She was wearing my expensive silk bathrobe and holding a glass of my vintage wine. I just stood there completely frozen on the porch. "What is this?" I demanded, my heart pounding in my chest. David looked at me with absolute chilling arrogance. "Ugh. I'm done, Elena. I want a divorce. Lexi is moving in. I already had a locksmith come and change the physical deadbolts on all the doors. I had the security company wipe your passcodes. My lawyers will send you the paperwork tomorrow. Now get off my property." He actually called it his property. I had paid for half the mortgage, but because the deed was technically under his LLC for tax purposes, he thought he could just throw me out into the street like garbage. "You can't do this, David," I whispered, feeling tears of pure rage welling up in my eyes. "I just did," he smiled maliciously, "go sleep in a hotel." And then he slammed the door right in my face. For the first 24 hours, I was devastated. I sat in a cheap motel room, staring at the ceiling, wondering how 10 years of marriage could end with a door slamming in my face. But then, on the second night, my phone buzzed. It was a notification from the smart home application. Motion detected, master bedroom at 11:45 p.m. I blinked. I sat up in bed. David had hired a security company to change the alarm codes and the physical locks on the doors. He thought that made the house secure. But he was so stupid, he completely forgot that the entire nervous system of the house, the central application that controlled literally everything else, was still strictly tied to my private email server. He couldn't lock me out of the digital admin portal without my biometric signature. Suddenly, I wasn't sad anymore. The tears completely dried up. A wicked, beautiful idea started blooming in my mind. If they wanted to live in my luxury house, I was going to make sure they experienced absolute pure hell. The fun officially began on a Tuesday night. I waited until exactly 3 a.m. I opened that application on my tablet. I saw that the master bedroom thermostat was set to a comfortable 72 degrees. I smiled, dragged my finger down the screen, and dropped the AC to 50 degrees, the absolute lowest setting. Freezing. Then I accessed the hidden surround sound speakers in the ceiling of the master bedroom. I found an audio file on YouTube of a creepy faint whispering sound. I connected to their room and played the audio at exactly 10% volume. Just loud enough to hear in the dead of night, but quiet enough to make you think you were losing your mind. Through the internal cameras, I watched the magic happen. At 3:15 a.m., David and Lexi started violently shivering. Lexi pulled the blankets up to her nose. Then the whispering started. David sat up in bed, looking around the dark, freezing room with wide, terrified eyes. Lexi started crying, clinging to him. He got up, walked over to the digital thermostat on the wall, and tried to turn the heat up. But I had enabled admin override. The screen just displayed a little lock icon. He punched the wall in frustration. They ended up sleeping in the living room on the sofa, shivering under a tiny throw blanket. Day 2 was even better. David had an important Zoom meeting with his real estate investors at noon. He was sitting in his home office, wearing a nice suit, trying to look professional. I logged into the system. First, I accessed the automated window blinds in his office. I programmed them to rapidly roll up and down, over and over again, like they were possessed. The room went blindingly bright, then pitch black, then bright again. Then I turned on the robotic vacuum cleaner. But I didn't just turn it on. I used the manual joystick feature on my phone to drive the vacuum directly into David's ankles repeatedly while he was trying to talk to his investors. He was screaming at the blinds, kicking the robotic vacuum away, and sweating profusely. His investors actually ended the call because he looked completely unhinged, but my absolute masterpiece was reserved for Lexi. Lexi was a lifestyle influencer. She spent her days recording herself doing yoga in the backyard and making organic smoothies in my kitchen. On Thursday afternoon, she set up her ring light by the expensive smart fridge to film a sponsored video for her followers. Due to kitchen camera, I watched her start recording. Hey guys, she smiled to the camera. Today I'm going to show you my favorite healthy recipe in my beautiful new kitchen. I opened the smart fridge app. Because the fridge was connected to David's credit card for automatic grocery deliveries, I navigated to the instant order grocery feature. While she was talking, the smart fridge's digital screen suddenly lit up and spoke in its loud robotic voice. Order confirmed. 50 jars of extra spicy jalapenos will be delivered in 1 hour. Total cost $400. Lexi jumped back, screaming. She stared at the fridge like it had just pulled a knife on her. I wasn't done. I accessed the smart lighting system in the kitchen and turned the bulbs to a deep blood red color. Then I turned on the automated blender to maximum speed. It started roaring like a jet engine. Lexi grabbed her camera, completely terrified, and ran out into the backyard to escape the possessed kitchen. Shh. Big mistake. The moment her expensive designer sandals hit the grass, I activated the high-pressure lawn sprinklers. Water blasted her from every single angle. She shrieked, completely soaked, her perfect hair ruined, her makeup running down her face. She tried to run back inside, but I remotely locked the sliding glass door. She stood in the yard, getting blasted by the sprinklers, sobbing uncontrollably. By Friday night, the house was a complete war zone. They hadn't slept in 3 days. The AC was constantly fluctuating between freezing and boiling. The TVs would randomly turn on at 4 a.m. playing documentaries about cheating husbands at maximum volume. The digital shower would suddenly turn ice cold right in the middle of David's morning routine. Finally, Lexi broke. Through the hallway camera, I watched her dragging a massive pink suitcase toward the front door. David was chasing after her, looking like a sleep-deprived zombie with massive dark circles under his eyes. Lexi, please, David begged, his voice cracking. I'll call an electrician. I'll get it fixed. No, she screamed back at him. This house is demonic, David. I can't take it anymore. The fridge ordered jalapenos. The vacuum cleaner is trying to kill me. I'm leaving you. She stormed out of the house and drove away. David was left completely alone, standing in the dark hallway of his massive, freezing mansion. 10 minutes later, my phone rang. It was him. I let it ring 3 times before I casually answered. Hello? Elena, he whispered. He sounded completely broken. Please, I know it's you. I know you're doing this. Please, just stop. I haven't slept in 80 hours. I leaned back in my chair and smiled. I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about, David. Sounds like you have a ghost problem. What do you want? He sobbed. He was actually crying. Name your price. Just give me the admin password. My price. I pretended to think about it. Well, since you essentially stole my equity in the house, I think a $2 million buyout is fair. You transfer the cash into my private account by tomorrow morning, and I will graciously hand over the digital master keys to your haunted house. $2 million, he gasped. That's everything I have in liquidity. I'll be practically broke. Well, David, you better start transferring the funds. Because I just found a really interesting playlist of clown laughing sounds and I'm planning to play it through your bedroom speakers for the next 12 hours. He paid. The money hit my account the very next morning at 8 far advance. I signed the transfer documents, gave his lawyers the admin passwords, and officially deleted the app from my phone. With my $2 million, I bought a gorgeous, cozy cottage near the beach. It has standard physical locks, a regular dumb refrigerator, and absolutely zero smart speakers. As for David, he's completely broke. And from what I hear, even though he has the passwords now, he still flinches every time the automated blinds go up. Sometimes the best revenge isn't keying a car or screaming in a courtroom. Sometimes it's just sitting on your couch with a cup of coffee and pressing a little digital button. Have you ever used technology to get back at someone who wronged you? Let me know your funniest revenge stories in the comments below. And if watching a cheating husband lose his mind to a robotic vacuum made you smile, hit that subscribe button. I'll see you in the next one.